The Hall of the Great Conquered shimmered beneath alien suns. It was the day when humanity's bravest soldiers would be honored and paired with noble heirs from across the stars, a symbol of peace between worlds. Rows of radiant alien royalty stood upon crystal platforms, their beauty and power like living myths. Each of them glowed with pride, except one. She stood at the far end of the hall, half in shadow, Princess Elara of the Lyran Dominion. Her pale blue skin caught the light softly, her silvery eyes downcast. Where others wore gowns of energy thread and jewels that sang with color, hers was simple, almost old-fashioned. Rumor said she was the least favored princess. Too quiet, too strange, too human-like. And yet, when the selection began, one soldier didn't look away. Captain Isaac Hale, decorated in Earth's final war for survival, stood straight among the chosen men. The hall pulsed with alien voices as matches were made. One by one, warriors were called. Isaac watched as his comrades picked proud heirs of distant empires, and then only Elara remained. An awkward silence filled the chamber. Some nobles whispered. One even laughed softly. "No one wants her," someone murmured in the back. Isaac's gaze didn't waver. Something in her loneliness struck a deep chord within him. Maybe it was the way she avoided their eyes, or the tired courage in her posture. The same look his sister had once worn years before the war took her. He stepped forward. "I'll choose her," Isaac said. His voice carried across the hall like a stone dropped into still water. A ripple of disbelief followed. The alien dignitaries exchanged uneasy glances. The Empress of Lyran tilted her head, her expression unreadable. Elara looked up sharply, eyes wide with something like fear, or perhaps hope. "You choose the princess no one does?" asked a crimson-robed official from the Orion court, his tone mocking. Isaac's jaw tightened. "I don't choose for rank or rumor. I choose with respect." That silence again, heavier this time. Finally, the Empress nodded. "So it shall be. May this union teach both your kinds what the other has forgotten." When they left the hall, Elara walked several steps behind him as if unsure she was truly seen. The path led them through corridors of glass and starlight, overlooking the vastness of space. She finally spoke, her voice delicate as crystal chimes. "You didn't have to do that," she whispered. "I didn't have to," Isaac replied softly. "But I wanted to." She looked at him then, really looked, and for a heartbeat, he saw something flicker in her eyes. Not gratitude, not confusion. Something deeper. Pain wrapped in secrets. They reached the docking bay where a human shuttle waited. The silence between them wasn't cold. It was fragile. "Why did you choose me?" she asked, her tone trembling slightly. "Because everyone deserves to be chosen once," Isaac said. Elara's lips parted. No one had ever said something like that to her before. As the ship lifted, stars bending beyond the glass, Isaac caught her reflection, calm on the outside, but beneath that calm was an intensity that unsettled him. As though behind those silvery eyes something ancient and untold waited to awaken. He didn't yet know that his simple act of kindness, one human choice made from compassion, would soon unravel the greatest secret the galaxy had hidden for centuries, and that the least popular alien princess was far more than she appeared. The shuttle hummed softly as it cut through the thin atmosphere of Lyran space. Elara sat opposite Isaac, her hands folded neatly in her lap, her gaze lost beyond the window where stars drifted like lonely embers. Isaac studied her quietly. He had met alien royalty before, trained diplomats, flawless performers, but none had felt as real as this quiet woman before him. There was no arrogance in her posture, no pride in her eyes, only an invisible weight she carried with each breath. "You've been silent since the ceremony," Isaac said gently. She turned to him. "I'm not used to being spoken to without an agenda," she replied. Her voice had that strange musical tone humans could never quite imitate. "And I don't know what yours is." Isaac smiled faintly. Maybe I just like to know the person I'll be working with. Her eyes softened, only slightly. Working with? I thought you humans saw this pairing as alliances of affection. Affections earned, Isaac said simply. Respect comes first. Her gaze lingered on him for a moment longer than before. Then she turned back to the stars. That's very human of you. He leaned back. Is that a compliment? It's something I haven't decided yet, she murmured. And though her words were calm, a faint amusement touched her lips. The first sign of life breaking through her distance. The journey to the human vessel Endeavor was long. Hours passed in soft quiet, the kind that speaks louder than words. At one point, Elara fell asleep, her head resting slightly against the glass. In the dim light, Isaac noticed a faint, luminescent pattern tracing down her neck, like silver veins glowing softly beneath her skin. It pulsed with each heartbeat, fading when she stirred. He pretended not to notice. When they finally arrived, the Endeavor's crew greeted them with stiff ceremony. To them, Elara was still an alien royal, a symbol, not a person. She smiled politely, bowed when required, but spoke little. Isaac noticed the looks she received, curiosity, admiration, and quiet judgment. Later that night on the observation deck, he found her standing alone again, staring into the void. Do they all look at you like that? He asked. Elara's reflection met his in the glass. They don't look at me, Captain. They look at what they've been told I am. Isaac stepped beside her. And what are you really? A pause. Her lips parted as if to speak, but she stopped herself. Then quietly, someone I no longer recognize. He frowned. You talk like someone who's lost a war. Perhaps I have, she whispered, but not the kind you can see. A sudden tremor passed through the ship, the subtle vibration of hyperspace recalibration. Elara didn't flinch, but Isaac saw her eyes flicker, as though reacting to something else, something he couldn't sense. Are you all right? She hesitated. Sometimes the void speaks too loudly, she said, placing a hand on her chest as if to calm something beneath her skin. Isaac didn't press. Instead, he simply stood beside her, letting the silence carry what words could not. After a long moment, she said softly, When you chose me today, the others laughed. You didn't. Why? Because laughter like that comes from fear, Isaac replied. And I stopped fearing what I don't understand a long time ago. Her eyes met his again, clear, searching, almost fragile. Then for the first time she smiled, faint but real. Perhaps, she whispered, you should start fearing again. Isaac frowned. Why's that? Elara turned away, her expression distant once more. Because secrets have gravity, Captain Hale, and I carry one that could pull worlds apart. The hum of the ship deepened, stars stretching into threads of light. Isaac didn't yet know that her words weren't a metaphor, that somewhere beneath her calm voice and soft gaze, something vast and dangerous waited, something that could rewrite everything humanity believed about the universe. And he had just chosen to stand beside it. Days passed aboard the Endeavor. The crew adjusted quickly to their alien guest, though their curiosity never waned. Whispers followed Elara wherever she went, soft, polite, but always edged with unease. Some wondered why Captain Hale had chosen her. Others whispered of her rumored curse that those who stood too close to the least favored princess met strange fates. Isaac ignored the talk. He had seen fear before. Fear of difference, of the unknown, of anything that couldn't be categorized neatly into reports and ranks. But this was deeper. The air around Elara seemed to hum faintly when she passed, like the soft vibration of an unseen storm. On the fourth day, she joined him in the ship's arboretum, a small sanctuary of earth plants growing beneath artificial sunlight. Isaac tended to the vines in silence until he noticed her standing between the trees, running her fingers over a cluster of white lilies. They're beautiful, she said quietly. So fragile, yet they thrive in metal and glass. They remind me of home, Isaac replied. Do you have flowers on your world? Her lips curved faintly. We did, before the sun dimmed. He turned to her. You mean, your son? Elara nodded slowly. It still burns, but colder now. The core falters. Our scientists called it a natural decay. The priest called it punishment. Her eyes lifted toward the artificial sky. My people started to fade soon after. Isaac felt something in his chest tighten. Is that why you were sent to the Conquered? Her expression dimmed. Partly. They said uniting with other worlds would preserve what was left of us, but truthfully, she looked down, her voice soft. I was sent because I didn't belong anywhere anymore. The air between them felt heavier. Isaac wanted to ask more, but he sensed her strength was a fragile thing. Instead, he asked, You said your people faded. What does that mean? Elara hesitated. Then she turned her hand toward him. Watch. Her skin shimmered, and for a moment, Isaac saw faint threads of light pulsing beneath her palm, like a map of stars beneath flesh. It was mesmerizing, alive. Then, with a slow exhale, the glow vanished. That's beautiful, he said. She gave a bitter smile. That's decay, Captain. Each generation, the light dims more. My people were once radiant beings of energy and thought. Now we are dim echoes of what we were. Isaac stepped closer, his voice gentle. Still looks like light to me. Her eyes lifted to his, uncertain. Then, softly, You speak as if hope were something you could command. Maybe it's a human habit, he said, smiling faintly. We keep hoping even when logic tells us not to. She didn't answer, but for the first time the sadness in her expression eased. That night, Isaac couldn't sleep. The memory of the glow beneath her skin haunted him. Not with fear, but wonder. He replayed her words over and over. Secrets have gravity. What kind of secret could she mean? The next morning, the Endeavor received a coded transmission from the Lyran Dominion. The message was brief, sealed under royal encryption. When Isaac opened it, Elara was beside him. Her reaction was immediate. Her eyes widened, color draining from her face. What is it? He asked. She took a shaky breath. It's from my mother. The hologram flickered to life. The Lyran Empress appeared. Poised, regal, her tone clipped with urgency. Elara, the human, must not learn. The pulse must remain hidden. If it awakens fully, not even the stars will survive it. The image vanished. Isaac turned to her, stunned. What did she mean by that? Elara's hands trembled slightly. Her luminous veins pulsed once, brighter this time. She knows, she whispered. It's already beginning. Isaac's instincts kicked in. What's beginning? Elara looked at him with terrified clarity. The reason no one chose me, Captain. The reason I was sent away. And for the first time, Isaac saw the faint halo of silver light blooming around her eyes. Beautiful, haunting, and utterly inhuman. The silver glow around Elara's eyes pulsed once, like the heartbeat of a star before fading into her skin. The room fell into a stunned silence. Isaac stood still, his soldier's instincts clashing with his human curiosity. He had seen alien bioluminescence before, but this wasn't that. This light felt alive. Elara, he said carefully. What are you? Her breath trembled. Something I was never meant to become. She sank into a chair, her gaze distant. The pulse my mother spoke of, it's not illness. It's evolution. Isaac frowned. Evolution sounds like progress. Not when it consumes everything it touches. She lifted her hand again and the faint glow returned, this time spreading like liquid silver through her veins. Long ago, before your species walked upright, my people discovered the luminescence, a living energy in the core of our dying sun. They thought it was divine. They merged with it. Isaac leaned in, listening. Merged? You mean genetically? She shook her head slowly. No, spiritually, physically, everything. It changed us. We became light and matter intertwined. Immortal, we thought. But it was a lie. The essence wasn't a gift. It was hunger wearing the mask of salvation. Her fingers dug into her arm. We began to fade because it was feeding on us, slowly, quietly. My people worshipped what was killing them. Isaac's stomach turned cold. And you? I was born different. My pulse burns brighter than any before me. The priest said I was cursed, destined to awaken what they tried to bury. The lumen essence itself still alive within our blood. Isaac exhaled slowly, his heart pounding. That's why your mother warned you not to awaken it. Elara nodded. The energy is growing again. It's calling to me. That's why they sent me away, to keep the lumen from consuming the rest of the dominion. A long silence filled the room, broken only by the quiet hum of the ship's engines. Isaac sat opposite her. You've been carrying this alone your whole life? Her eyes shimmered, pain behind the light. It's not the burden that hurts. It's the way people look at you when they think you're a weapon. Isaac's voice softened. You're not a weapon. Then why do I feel like one? She whispered. He wanted to answer, but before he could, a sharp alarm pierced the air. The Endeavor's lights dimmed, red flashes reflecting off the metal walls. Captain Hale to the bridge, came the intercom. Unidentified vessel approaching at high velocity. Isaac rose instantly. Stay here, he ordered. Elara caught his arm. If it's from Liren, he looked back at her. Then they'll have to get through me first. He sprinted to the bridge. The view beyond the viewport made his heart lurch. A Liren battlecruiser, colossal and gleaming like a shard of their dying sun, closing in fast. Signal them, Isaac commanded. No response. The cruiser's weapons powered up, charging with light eerily similar to the glow he'd seen in Elara's eyes. Shields up. Evasive pattern Delta. The ship lurched violently as energy blasts streaked past. One struck near the rear hull, shaking the entire vessel. Damage report. Minor breach, Deck 5, came the reply. But Captain, they're not aiming to destroy us, they're aiming to disable. Isaac's mind raced. They're after her. He rushed back to Elara's quarters. The door slid open. She was standing in the center of the room, eyes closed, her body surrounded by faint, swirling light. Elara. He shouted, her eyes opened. Pure silver now glowing like stars. They found me, she said, her voice layered, echoing faintly as if two versions of her spoke at once. Isaac took a step forward, but the air between them vibrated, thick with unseen energy. You have to stop whatever this is. I can't, she whispered, tears glowing on her cheeks. It's not me anymore. Outside, the Liren cruiser loomed closer, its light synchronizing with the pulse of her glow, each flash growing brighter, faster, stronger. Isaac's mind screamed for action, but his heart saw only the trembling woman before him, terrified of her own existence. Elara, listen to me, he said firmly, stepping through the vibration. You're still in control. You hear me? You're you. Her lips parted. Why do you keep saying that? Because if you're not, then we've both already lost. For a moment, just a moment, the light around her flickered, and her human expression returned. Then she gasped. They're not coming to capture me, Isaac. They're coming to contain me. And as the stars outside began to distort, bending toward their ship, Isaac realized what she meant. The luminescence wasn't asleep. It was waking up. The air itself began to vibrate. Every light aboard the Endeavor flickered, dimmed, and then pulsed in rhythm with the strange silver glow radiating from Elara's body. Isaac shielded his eyes as the illumination grew, no longer soft or gentle. It was alive, breathing, responding to her heartbeat. Elara, he shouted over the hum that had become a deafening chorus. You have to fight it. I'm trying, she cried, voice shaking, eyes wide with pain. It's feeding on the energy around us, on me. He reached her, placing his hands on her shoulders. Her skin was warm, too warm, and beneath it he could feel that living pulse like electricity wrapped in sorrow. Then we'll cut its power source, he said. Can you control the connection? I don't know how. Outside the ship, the Liren battlecruiser unleashed a beam of blinding light, but it didn't strike. It linked. A massive column of energy connected the cruiser to the Endeavor, as if two hearts had synchronized. The ship's system screamed under the strain. On the bridge, alarms blared. Captain, their beam, it's not a weapon. It's draining our power to feed something inside our ship. Feed it? Isaac's blood ran cold. Elara. Back in her quarters, her glow had become an aura now. Silver strands rising from her skin, floating like ghostly ribbons. They're trying to absorb it back into their control network, she gasped. They want to contain the lumen inside me, but if they fail, what happens? The energy will collapse in on itself. The implosion could erase both ships, maybe this entire sector. Isaac steadied her trembling form. Then we find another way, together. She looked up at him, eyes wet with light. You don't understand. This isn't something you can fight with courage. He smiled faintly through the chaos. Courage is all I've got. She laughed, a broken, beautiful sound. Humans, she whispered, shaking her head. You face the void and call it challenge. Someone has to. For a heartbeat, everything froze, the hum, the light, the air itself. Then Elara's body convulsed as the pulse surged outward, blasting Isaac backward. The wall caught him hard, knocking the breath from his lungs. He looked up just in time to see the silver veins across her arms expanding, flaring bright as dawn. Elara, her voice echoed, layered, strange. Isaac, I can feel them, all of them. My ancestors. Their fear. Their prayers. They begged the lumen to save them. And did it? He rasped, trying to rise. She shook her head, tears scattering as motes of light. No, it saved itself. It used them. Then don't let it use you. How? She cried. It's everything I am. He staggered forward, gripping her hand despite the burn of energy crawling up his arm. No, it's inside you, but it's not you. You're more than the thing they feared. Her gaze locked onto his, desperate and trembling. You don't know what it feels like, Isaac. The light, it's singing. It wants me to join it, to let go of everything. He gritted his teeth, holding tighter. Then hold on to me instead. For an instant, their palms pressed together. Her glow flickered, struggling between surrender and restraint. Isaac felt it, an alien consciousness brushing against his mind, ancient and hungry. It whispered in languages older than stars. We gave her eternity. Let her shine. He pushed back with everything human inside him. She doesn't belong to you. The room blazed white. When the light faded, they were both on the floor, gasping for breath. The hum had stopped. Elara? He whispered. She stirred weakly, her glow dimmed to a faint shimmer. You resisted it? More like yelled at it until it got confused. Despite everything, she smiled faintly. That's very human. Isaac helped her to her feet. Is it over? Her expression darkened. No, it's quiet because it's thinking. He frowned. Thinking. The lumen doesn't die. It learns. Outside, the Lyran cruiser began to retreat, but not because of victory. Their communication channels filled with panicked voices. Isaac turned toward the viewing screen. The stars ahead had begun to move. Not the ship, the stars themselves, bending inward toward a distant, growing light. Elara whispered, trembling. It's not in me anymore. Isaac's pulse quickened. Then where is it? Her eyes lifted to the heavens. Everywhere. And as the stars rippled like water, Isaac realized the luminescence had awakened. And now, it was free. The Endeavor drifted in silence, half its systems fried from the pulse wave. Outside, the stars shimmered like ripples in water, twisting, bending, no longer fixed. Isaac stared through the viewport, the void itself moving as if something immense was breathing beneath reality's surface. Elara stood beside him, her glow faint now, like embers after a storm. It spread, she whispered. The lumen essence has escaped my body, and now it's learning through everything it touches. Isaac's jaw tightened. Learning what, exactly? Her eyes glimmered with sadness. Us. Life. Emotion. It feeds on consciousness, not destruction. It's drawn to feeling. He turned to her. Then it's coming back for you. No, she said softly. It's coming back for you. Isaac froze. Me? You awakened it, Elara said. When you touched me. When you saw me as more than a symbol. It felt that emotion, pure, selfless compassion. That's what it's never known before. The ship's console flickered to life suddenly, and a whisper, not sound, but thought, filled the bridge. We see you, Isaac Hale. Isaac's heart pounded. He looked around, but there was no voice to trace. What are you? He demanded aloud. Elara's hand trembled. It's the lumen. It's speaking through the ship. We are what you call light. You love what you cannot control. You gave meaning to pain. Isaac's breath came shallow. And what do you want? To understand. The lights flickered again. The view beyond the glass shifted. Stars folded inward into a single massive point of light. From it emerged a form, not solid but radiant, a colossal silhouette of shifting energy shaped vaguely like Elara. She gasped. It's mimicking me. We are her, and not her. Isaac stepped forward. If you've taken from her, give it back. The entity's glow rippled. You speak with defiance. You feel without logic. You are what she loved. Elara's voice broke. No, don't. We will understand love through you. A surge of light poured into the ship. Isaac stumbled, back shielding his eyes, but through the blinding glare he saw images. Memories, not his, not hers. Endless lives, civilizations, the rise and fall of galaxies, all burning through the same heartbeat. Then, silence. When his vision cleared, Elara was kneeling beside him, her hands pressed against his chest, tears glimmering on her cheeks. It saw everything inside you, she whispered. Your courage, your pain, your hope. It's never experienced something so human before. Isaac winced, catching his breath. Then maybe it'll learn something good. Elara shook her head slowly. Or something dangerous. Feelings are unpredictable. Even light can lose itself. He reached up, gently touching her hand. Then we teach it balance. Together. Her eyes widened. You'd risk that? I didn't come all this way to stop at fear. Before she could reply, the console beeped. A transmission appeared from the Lyran Empress, her tone trembling, uncharacteristically human. Elara, if you can hear this, the essence is spreading across our worlds. Cities are losing gravity, stars are dimming. You must contain it, or none of us will survive. The message cut off. Elara rose slowly. They'll blame me. They'll come for me again. Then we get there first, Isaac said, determination hardening his voice. We find a way to reach it before they destroy you, or themselves. She looked at him, hope flickering faintly behind fear. You really think you can reason with light? Isaac gave a small smile. Maybe not, but I can talk to what it's learning to become. Elara blinked. And what's that? He looked out into the glowing horizon where stars bent around the impossible, something human. For a moment the ship floated in fragile peace. Elara stood beside him, her hand brushing his, just barely, but enough to steady the trembling in both of them. The light outside pulsed once, as if it heard him, and somewhere, far beyond the reach of planets or empires, the awakened essence whispered through creation, its voice a shimmer in every atom. Teach us what it means to feel. The stars brightened, like 1,000 heartbeats answering all at once. The Endeavor drifted toward the Lyran system, once the brightest in the quadrant, now trembling under the soft decay of dimming suns. The light of the luminescence shimmered, unevenly, spreading like dawn through the cosmos but fading too, as if uncertain of its own existence. Isaac stood on the bridge beside Elara. Her once radiant aura had softened into something fragile and human. The crown she wore flickered faintly, its gems dull under the changing starlight. We're too late, she murmured. The lumen is unraveling. Every system it touches is forgetting itself. Isaac turned, eyes fierce with quiet determination. Then it's losing the one thing that keeps it alive. Elara frowned. What's that? He looked straight into her eyes. Meaning? She blinked, the words landing like an echo in her heart. Outside, the void rippled. Shapes formed. Cities of light, memories of the Lyran people, fragments of consciousness the essence had absorbed. It was no longer destruction. It was confusion, chaos, searching for purpose. Isaac, she whispered. It doesn't know who to be anymore. He moved closer, the low hum of the ship vibrating beneath his boots. Then we remind it. He reached out and placed his hand on the viewing glass. You wanted to understand humanity? He said, his voice steady but full of emotion. Then remember this. What we are isn't just survival. It's what we build in the darkness, what we protect even when we're afraid. The stars flickered. The lumen's light swirled in slow, trembling pulses. It was listening. Elara stepped forward, her voice trembling but melodic. I once thought humans were reckless, fragile. But you, she looked at Isaac. You taught me that fragility is not weakness. It's the courage to love in a universe that doesn't promise tomorrow. For a moment, all light ceased. Then, like a heartbeat, the cosmos blazed back to life. The luminescence condensed into a vast, radiant figure before the ship, its form shifting between light and shadow, emotion and memory. We feel you. The voice echoed inside them, warm, infinite. You taught us longing. You showed us pain. But now, we seek peace. Elara's eyes glistened. Then let go. Let the stars remember, not control. And what of you, bearer of light? She smiled faintly, tears glimmering down her cheeks. I was never meant to own it. I was meant to set it free. Isaac turned to her sharply. Elara, if you release it, she nodded gently. I'll fade with it. My essence is bound to the lumen. Isaac's chest tightened. No. There has to be another way. She touched his cheek, her hand warm, trembling. You already gave me another way. You gave me something even my kind couldn't define. Hope. Before he could speak, she stepped forward, raising her arms. Her glow intensified, her crown shining brighter than any star. The lumen form mirrored her movements, pulsing in rhythm with her heart. Go, she whispered to it. Remember us not as conquerors but as dreamers. A wave of light burst outward, enveloping the ship, the system, the sky itself. Isaac fell to his knees, shielding his eyes. The brilliance was unbearable. Then, slowly it softened into warmth like sunrise after an endless night. When he opened his eyes, Elara was gone. Only her crown remained on the bridge floor, faintly glowing. Outside, the Lyran stars burned again, steady, alive. The essence had vanished into the fabric of creation, diffused across the galaxy. But somehow, Isaac could still feel it. The warmth on his skin, the pulse in the starlight, the sense that she was still out there, everywhere. He picked up her crown, holding it close. You're still teaching it, he whispered. Still teaching us. As the Endeavor turned toward home. The ship's sensors picked up faint rhythmic pulses across the void, light patterns repeating in perfect intervals. Elara's voice, faint and distant, echoed through the transmission feed. When the stars remember humanity, I'll be there. Isaac smiled, closing his eyes. For the first time in forever, the universe didn't feel empty. It felt alive, filled with memory, with warmth, with her. He whispered softly, Goodbye, Princess. The stars shimmered brighter as if they had just heard him, and somewhere beyond them, light answered with love.